Hi everybody, and welcome back to another season of the VGC Casters Cup. I am David Partington, one of the Pokemon VGC casters, and I have the pleasure of being part of the Season 3 of this Draft League. Now, let's tell you what it's all about if you are not familiar already. So, this is a Draft League format. So, it means that there are multiple teams, so each of us casters are the coach of one of these teams, and we draft 10 Pokemon, and we just battle it out over multiple weeks to see who will be the best after getting through the playoffs section as well. So I'll link this website down in the description for you below, and it is a website that you can all access to keep up with all of the action of this season of Draft League, how each teams are doing, win-to-loss ratios, MVPs for certain Pokemon. It's going to be really good to kind of follow along on this one instead, and has everything that you would need, links to people's socials, YouTube, everything like that. Okay. So, I am the coach of the Winchester Murkrows, as I have been for the last couple of seasons. Season 1 went pretty well. I got to the final and just lost to Ben Kiriakou, unfortunately. Season 2 didn't go quite so well, didn't just about miss playoffs, and Ben also won Season 2 as well. So someone needs to stop him for Season 3, and I'm hoping to do that myself as well. And these are the other teams that we've got. So there's 16 teams in total, and we're split into 2 divisions. So there are 7 weeks of play. So 8 of us will be playing all of each other in that first 7 weeks, and there'll be another 8 teams that are also playing each other there as well. So just to kind of shout out a few, obviously you got Ben Kiriakou and his Sinister Sableye there. We've also got Boyd, we've got Jake, we've got Fareed, who's a Go-Caster, we've got Sierra Dawn, and we've got Shmon, we've got another Go-Caster in Alpha Phoebe, another Go-Caster in Rise to Occasion Kiss Rise. Gabby's going to be there, a TCG caster, Juancho of Filipino Fennekin's. We've got Costa, of course, there's Ben again. We've got Lou, we've got Joe Brown, there's me, Winchester Murkrows. Oh, another TCG caster, Mike, and we've got Lee as well, Cyrus. So a really stacked set of players here, and even though there's a lot of Go and TCG going around, they're also pretty good in their own right. Now, moving on to the draft. So, it was a snake draft. So, basically, one person starts, they pick their pick, and then the next person picks, and they pick, and they pick, and they pick. And then once you get to the end of the list, you snake back up again. So whoever was last on that first line then goes immediately again for a second pick, and then comes back up. So I was somewhere towards the bottom there, which wasn't too bad. So I got to have a pick, and then I waited 2, and then I got to go and do another. Arguably the best choice is to have the wheel pick, where you are at either the bottom or the top of the snake. So you get to do 2 in a row, so you know you won't get sniped for your second pick. So Ben was also a wheel pick, so as if he needed that. Anyway, we're going to get into what I drafted anyway. So first of all, you got to know that the draft is sorted out into A, B, C, and D tier Pokemon. All right, so you could pick. There's only 4 different slots as to like how good a Pokemon is. Makes it very simplistic, but that's kind of what separates this draft from others as well. And we wanted to make this kind of quite universal as well, and good for any people who are quite new to draft or new to VGC in itself, which maybe some of our other casters who aren't on from VGC might fall into. So, first A tier pick that I made, Sableye. So, a lot of people went for an A tier pick as well. Like for their kind of first choice, but they were usually like a mega or something just really strong, but I was like, right, what's probably the best supporter? It's Sableye. I think it can be brought to so many different games. It's only weak to Fairy, and yeah, if you've ever played against it, you know how annoying it can be, just with all of those status moves it can use. Stats, not amazing obviously, but makes up for it for how much chaos it can cause. So by the way, this draft is not going to necessarily be in order, because what I did is you draft all 10 Pokemon, and then after everyone's finished, you have 24 hours where you can just suddenly switch some of your picks with other picks, as long as it meets your budget and what you're allowed with whatever is left. So even though my next one is, even though my next one is Blaziken, actually it wasn't my second pick. My second pick was actually Mega Greninja, which you'll find that actually isn't on this draft at all. So, which was a B tier pick. So my next B tier that I ended up replacing it with was Blaziken. Really nice option for draft league, I think, because you can go either physical or special. And Speed Boost is its own speed control, so I don't need to worry too much about that either. And it gets a lot of supporting options too. Speed Boost and Fire and Fighting types, you often in draft kind of want to have dual typing a lot of the time, because in an ideal world, across your 10 Pokemon, you have all of the different types, so that you are hard to counter or project or kind of be walled with anything. So that's kind of what I try to do as best as I can. So yeah, Blaziken is number 2 here. Hopefully it'll get some decent amount of use at the moment. And one thing I should also mention is that in this draft league, Megas are drafted separately from their non-Mega counterparts. So me drafting Blaziken means that I can't use Mega Blaziken. But if someone else drafted Mega Blaziken, they would have to use Blaziken holding the Mega Stone. Doesn't mean they have to Mega Evolve it, they just mean they do have to run that item on it. So this is specifically non-Mega Blaziken, which is sometimes a good thing compared to its Megas, depending on which Megas you're talking about. Next up, Metagross. Really happy to get this choice as well. This was actually my third pick after Mega Greninja originally. And yeah, it's just very strong, so bold. If you look at those stats, Clear Body means it's immune to Intimidate and other stat dropping shenanigans as well, which tends to be a bit more common in draft league anyway. Amazing coverage, and very happy it's on the team. This is non-Mega Metagross specifically, because a Mega Metagross I think was taken like second in like the entire draft. I think Mike has it. He just lost Metagross anyway. So yeah, this is specifically non-Mega, arguably slightly worse, but I thought it was good value because Metagross was a B tier, so quite good within that tier. Next up, Ariados. I really wanted to grab some redirection quickly, because I think there are like about 7 redirectors in the entire regulation set MB format, and there are 16 coaches, so we couldn't all get one. So I wanted to make sure that I got one pretty soon, which is why Ariados is on the team. But it's a C tier pick as well, so I thought it was kind of decent for that sort of level where you are kind of quite limited in redirectors, and most of them were either in A or B tier. So I was really happy to get this one, and apparently sniped Joe as well before he was able to get it as well. So even better than I was happy to get that, especially as Ariados has the ability to snipe. Yeah, Bug Poison, quite good for resisting moves. Obviously Ariados is quite good in regulation set MA or MB because of what is already good in the format. So actually in draft league, you could in theory argue Ariados is not quite as good because it's not as much of a counter pick. But just still having that option is really big for like setup or Trick Room or Tailwind. Next up is Aromatisse, and this was my Trick Roomer that I definitely wanted. Always good to try and have some sort of a Trick Room mode on a draft team, especially when you have 10 Pokemon. You might as well try and make your opponents keep guessing whether you're going to go fast or slow. And I thought this was a really nice option because there's plenty of Psychic type Trick Roomers, but not many that are non-Psychic, which means that you generally got less weaknesses, and what people's typical answers into Trick Roomers, which are often Psychic, is not the same for Aromatisse. Plus, I have Aroma Veil as well, so what your normal options of trying to shut down a Trick Room with Taunt can't be done with Aromatisse. And because it not only affects itself, but also other its ally as well. What's also good too is I didn't want anyone else to have Aromatisse because it would shut down what my own Sable I could maybe do to their team. So I'm glad to have it on here. Next up is Decidueye. So this is my one B tier pick that I've got. So we had to have an A, 2 Bs, 2 Cs, and a D. So that's what we've got at the moment. A, B, B, C, C, D. So I had to kind of fill this slot. And Decidueye, I thought was quite nice because even though it's typically one of the worst starters in the game, it's got okay stats. And actually, when you're a mixed attacker, that can sometimes be a bit of a good thing in draft league because your opponent can't immediately guess which way you're going to go. Plus, this UI has a lot of utility. It has Tailwind. It has like its buffed Spirit Shackle move, which traps opponents, along with a lot of other things like that Ghost Touch didn't really do yet. And it's the one grass type on my team too, so I was kind of looking for that slot, and obviously maybe something like Ghost Offense too, which Sableye doesn't really offer. Okay, next. So obviously I've got no Megas yet, so it's time to bring one in. Mega Aerodactyl. Okay, so now we're in the points era. So the last 4 picks they're called free picks. I don't know why they're called free picks, but you basically have 200 points to spend on those 4 picks. And D tier Pokemon are 20, C tiers are 40, B's 60, A's 80. So there's a few different scenarios as to what you could get. So you could get like A, B, C, D. You could get 2 A's, 2 D's. You could get 2 B's, 2 C's. There's lots of different ways you could kind of work it out. Most people seem to go either A, B, C, D, or 2 A's and 2 D's. So you'll see that I've done something that no one else has also done, and I've gone for an A and 3 C's, which minimizes the number of B's in my pick. But yeah, Mega Aerodactyl, I definitely wanted. So as you can see, my team is kind of naturally quite slow. And so having the fastest Tailwind user and fastest Pokemon in the game, jointly with Mega Alakazam, which wasn't drafted, was quite good. And yeah, is the reason this is an A tier pick as well. Like, it's just got so much utility, so quick, and like Rock Slide just can win games on its own. Makes sense. And then I kind of think the perfect amount of Megas is 2. So I got another one. Mega Ampharos. So originally on my draft, I had Mega Galurk. But I was kind of really wanting a strong electric type. And actually, at the later point of the draft, they were pretty much all gone. Like, all the electric types. Yeah, there was like Dedenne and like Morpeko. And a few other Pokemon left. So I originally had Morpeko. But I did a few trades and kind of switched some things around. And it basically made my Trick Room Mega this Ampharos instead. Which I really wanted because it adds 2 typings that I didn't already have. And with this more break ability, you can just kind of blow through all the Lightning Rod users, which there are a few of. Because we're in regulations at MV, right? So you've got Raichu, Mega Raichu X, and Mega Raichu Y. So there's already 3 teams that have a Lightning Rod user just from Raichu, let alone all the other users too. So having that was quite nice. And it's just pretty strong. 165 base special attack, quite slow, and just blows holes in things. So that's what I like. And it's a C tier. C. Next up, Overquill. Now, Overquill was not the most obvious pick for me because I already have a Dark type and I already have a Poison type. But again, those 2 Pokemon are not very offensive, so I still was kind of missing some significant Poison and Dark damage. So Overquill made a lot of sense here. It also kind of gives my team some Intimidate spam, which is great. I might end up using Poison Point or Swift Swim maybe at some point, but I think Intimidate just was really nice. Overquill, being only weak to ground as well is quite then an easy bring into a lot of teams with its kind of support option with big damage. And so yeah, another C tier pick I thought was quite good value. And finally, rounding out the team, we've got a few types missing. So, have a moment to think about what I'm maybe missing and see if you can guess what I've got. It is Swampert, water and ground. So, that pretty much rounds out all the types apart from normal, I think, from what I've drafted. And yeah, Swampert being a C tier pick, I thought was also quite good. It's got a lot of utility, load of different coverage moves, it can go physical or special, and because of its kind of 60 speed, it can kind of both work in Tailwind and Trick Room, which is kind of what I quite like. I've obviously got to watch out for grass moves on Swampert, but otherwise, it kind of rounded up the team fairly nicely, I think. Unfortunately, the pledge moves aren't in Champions, despite me having Blaziken, Decidueye, and Swampert. That would have been great if the pledge moves were in here, because then I'm going to do that, but I can't. Yeah. So that's basically the entire team. So I think it's probably not the strongest of teams in the meta, especially if you start having a look at the other teams on the website and or some other people's draft league or draft analysis videos as well. That you'll see that I think there's definitely stronger ones out there, but I think there's maybe some tools that are still unlocked within my 10 I've got here that I haven't really thought about too hard yet. Some stuff obviously I don't want to reveal either. So really looking excited for the season. First week is going to be up against Lou the Pikachu and her very fast kind of Tailwind Sun team, also with Mega Gyarados, which is a bit of a problem, I think. So I have to work out how to do that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and there will be weekly videos going up on every Saturday for each week of the Caster Cup. So stay tuned for that, and bye for now.